My name is Chinonso and I'm Nigerian. I was born into Christianity. Of course, I was born into a Christian home. The earliest memory of my faith was at 6 years old. I grew up with my grandmother, an Anglican woman, and I started in the Anglican children's ministry. I loved it. Every evening at 6 p.m. I walked there with other children. We played. We learned to memorize Bible verses, Psalm 23, Psalm 121. We rehearsed for children's competitions. I joined the children's choir. We learned to memorize Bible verses. Those years shaped me. They were everything. When I completed primary 6, I moved back to my mother's house in Aba. My family was Catholic, but I had fallen in love with music. And the Pentecostal church was where music lived. I could sit close to the singers, close to the drummers, close to something alive. My mother allowed it, and there in that church, I learned what community meant. I learned what belonging felt like. After my schooling in Aba, I moved to Lagos. There I encountered a completely different style of choir. It was challenging at first, but I adapted quickly. Music had always been a part of me. I also met some great friends along the way. We made sacrifices, real ones. We used our own money to pay for studio sessions just to rehearse. Everything was on us. Every single cost came from our own pockets. We funded our own trips, traveling from city to city, Lagos to Aba, Lagos to Benin, Lagos to Onitsha, and beyond, just to sing and spread the gospel through music. Transportation, feeding, hotel accommodation, every single cost came from our own pockets. Even rehearsals were self-funded. At some point I even led a choir, so this gives you an idea of how deeply rooted I was in Christendom. I was active, I was present, I was a leader. Then something changed. I stopped being a Christian, and the moment I said that, everyone heard something different than what I said. They heard, "I am no longer one of you." The people I had sung with, worked alongside, shared my life with, they started to distance themselves. One by one, hands that were connected now separate, not violent, just absent. One of them called me and asked directly, "Now that you're no longer a Christian, what are you now?" That question felt like asking a slave who had run away. Now that you've escaped, who owns you now? Others didn't even ask politely. They asked, "Are you doing juju now? Are you an antichrist?" The shock and the pain, I was no longer a person to them. I was just a label that had been removed. But the blow that cut deepest came from my business mentor. We had partnered for years. We had never had a single dispute about profit sharing. We trusted each other. Then he told me something that revealed everything. He had noticed I was no longer Christian, and because of that, he doubted my morality. He believed I had nothing to fear anymore. So he ended our business relationship, just like that. 3 years of honest partnership, gone. Just like that. 3 years of honest partnership destroyed because I no longer wore the label he needed me to wear. And my community, that large circle of friends, they all distanced themselves. Some told me, "We are not equally yoked." Unraveling, thread by thread, one hand after another letting go until nothing is left, just hands alone. Here is what I know with absolute certainty. Morality did not come from Christianity. Morality did not come from Islam or organized religion. Morality existed before any religion was born. Humans are capable of extreme evil and extreme good. It depends on the choice we make. But that knowledge did not ease the pain. Because I kept asking myself the question that Christianity itself teaches. Christianity says God is love. Where is it? It disappears the moment you leave the church. It vanishes the moment you leave the box. You can see the evidence everywhere. People walking around convinced they are chosen, that others are condemned. People who preach love but practice rejection. So I ask, is the salvation they talk about really salvation? Or is it just membership? Is the love they preach really love? Or is it just transaction? I have very few friends now. The ones who remained are those with open minds. The rest left, and I understand why. I was no longer useful to them. I could no longer validate their choices. I could no longer be a mirror of their faith. I was no longer useful to them. But it revealed something important. The friends who stayed were the ones who could separate me from my beliefs, who could see me as a person, not as a representative of their faith. That is the connection worth keeping. But here is what I realized. I no longer identify as Christian, but I also do not identify as atheist. I am a human. My name is Chinonso, and that is enough for me. In my experience as a student of life, every other species living on this earth has no fear of being what it is. A mosquito does not apologize for being a mosquito. It doesn't question its purpose or its right to exist. A goat does not struggle with its identity as a goat. A dog does not fear being a dog, they simply are, and in being they fulfill their nature. My hands move with the same simple purpose now, not performing, just being, and that is more than enough. Here is my answer to my own question. The love they talk about is not universal love. It is conditional love. It is love with fine print. It is love that comes with requirements. Real love, the kind worth having, does not work that way. Real love does not ask, "Are you still Christian?" before it decides whether to help you. Real love does not distance itself from you when you make a different choice. It says, "I see you are no longer Christian, and I still see you. I still respect you. I chose to be human fully and completely without apology. My name is Chinonso. I am human, and I have learned that this is more than enough." The love they promised? I found it in the few people who can see me and love me regardless of what box I'm in. That is the love worth having. That is enough. This has been my story. This has been Frost Perspective. Think deeper, see clearer, and ask yourself, where is your love?